moment, we have a coalition forming up between trade unions and Fridays for Future. And this coalition is named We Will Ride Together, Wir fahren zusammen. And Fridays for Future and the trade union Verdi realized the struggle for a better working situation in the public transport is just one we all have to reach together. So Fridays for Future.
Tell us about Fridays for Future.
Yeah, Fridays for Future, you know, in the US.
Different name.
So what is Fridays for Future called here? Young people going on the streets fighting for climate justice. It's called Fridays for Future. So we have it in Germany too. It's kind of the same organization. And they're on some points they're politically differently, but it's kind of young people, normally students or people going to school, seeing that their future is endangered because of the climate crisis. And then, I don't know if someone of you have been to Berlin, the people working our bus systems are normally known for being a bit rude, as all Berliners are, a very different kind of people. So what happened here is that over the last years, and I think no one of us would have thought this in 2018 or 2019, that these people are coming together, to bring these people together. So what they say is, a future that is good for our workers in the public transportation system, a future that is good for all people because of challenging the climate crisis, is something we have to tackle together. And not just with Fridays for Future and with the trade unions, they also started organizing the people using the public transport. So at the moment, and they just started some weeks ago, they already collected over 120,000 votes, and they will give this to the policymakers because they say when the trade unions are going into negotiations of the working situations in transport during this year, they want to give a lot of support by the public, by the people, by the movements into these negotiations, so they get lower hours. We have a lot of people being sick working in the public transport system, so that buses sometimes are not coming. It is really challenging for the people working there to keep up. I relate to
States, our public transit workers became much more militant because of COVID, and because they had to work through COVID.
Yeah.
And was that a similar thing in Germany, where they began to look sort of beyond their own experience and say, wow, we have to have some protection? Or
so when COVID was, I was working in Vietnam and living in Vietnam. I would say no, they were not getting militant, right? No. Stefan was in Germany, so let's say no. And so this is something where I would say that we can see that people and labor coalitions are coming together in Germany and fighting the neoliberal crisis and working together towards a social ecological transformation. And this is something where I would say we bring the left back on the march, something you said. Something else positive I can tell you about is there was a secret meeting between the fascists of the AfD and some radicals from radical fascist groups and some radicals and fascist radicals from Austria, where they made plans of, when they get into power, of an ethnic cleansing of people, of Germans that are not white. And not having, even having a German passport, not having the German passport was not their intention. They said, okay, we have to find ways how we get all people that are not white. This came out, it was a secret meeting in a hotel in Brandenburg. And we see that now a lot of people are going on the streets and striking on it, millions all over the cities, especially also in small cities where we have been in the background, where we haven't been going on, where there were no coalitions against the fascists, where just the fascists went on the streets. And this is a momentum, and maybe we can discuss it later, how for society, because at the moment all political parties, not the AfD for sure, are joining these strikes. Some people say it's very complicated going with the Social Democrats and the Christian Democrats on strikes against fascism, because these people made it possible that fascism rose because they were in power in the last years. And this is the second thing I think that's quite interesting to look at, and that maybe has some similarities also with the situation in the US, which is one of our topics. And I would maybe leave it there and keep the rest for the discussion later.